What is going on, everyone? Steve-O Supremo here, and I am just another game collector. And it hurts to say, but I mean, the numbers just do not lie. There's a reason that the companies are going in the direction they are when it comes to physical media in video games, and that is that digital is king. Digital has been king. It's been reigning ever since 2020 when it kind of took over, and the numbers and revenue just are not even close. And it shows the direction that gaming is going to be going. It's been nice that it's been held out for as long as it has been. We'll kind of get into the history of how everything's gone, but there's just no denying that digital is going to take over. It was all when and where, the matter of time. And I mean, that time has been passed. I'm surprised companies are still making physical items now for these systems. It makes sense for Nintendo right now, and we'll get into that. But for other companies, it just makes zero sense. So it's a sad time because people like me, growing up in the early era of video games and having our physical cartridges, was just awesome. And we never knew what the change was going to be with the next forms of media. And then when PlayStation shocked us all and had look, we're putting games on disc, we can hold so much more than your cartridges could back in the day. And I thought forever, honestly, that CDs and discs and stuff were going to be just how games were forever. I'm not joking. I thought that was going to be the way for the rest of my life, how games were going to be presented to us. Not maybe not in a CD format. Nintendo came out and kind of changed things up with these little mini disc DVDs in their GameCube, but for the most part, when PS2, Xbox were out there with their DVDs, and then you move on to the PS3, kind of get those Blu-ray discs. PS4 and stuff, you still had Blu-ray discs, like you had just discs, CDs. PlayStation threw us for a loop, still keeping some disc-based stuff in the PSP, but bringing back some cartridges with the PlayStation Vita. And then, of course, you had Nintendo with their handhelds, with the Nintendo DS and the 3DS with their cartridges. But it seemed like CDs and disc-based formats were going to be the way of how all games were going to be presented. Then Nintendo, once again, after CDs and stuff with the Wii U and the Wii, boom, they brought back cartridges when they introduced the Switch. So it was cool. It felt like, man, Nintendo's bringing back cartridges again. No more CDs. It just kind of felt awesome to have cartridges again, and that maybe that meant there was footing still for still having physical media out there forever. But like I said, the numbers just do not lie. And if you guys look into it, it's kind of staggering the difference in revenue that physical video game sales have compared to the digital side. And the numbers that I looked up, it was just staggering. It was $8 billion in revenue last year in 2024 in physical video game sales. That's how much revenue it generated. It was over $175 billion when it comes to the digital side of the marketplace. Guys, that is not even remotely close. That is an insane gap when it comes to how people are purchasing their video games and how they're supporting their video games through microtransactions and add-on content through the digital marketplace. And it's also a sign for the times. These days, when you go around, like my son, he's 14, he'll be 15 this year, going into high school. Kids these days around his age are not talking about how excited they are about getting the next console, the next PlayStation 5 or Xbox. They all want PCs. I'm not even kidding. They all want PCs. They want to get new PCs for Christmas or on their birthday or something to power up the PC they already have. So they're already being bred and groomed into this digital marketplace when it comes to PC gaming, because that's where all these younger kids, especially teenagers, want to get their gaming on. And if they do want to get into console stuff, they'll have a Switch. They do Nintendo because Nintendo has those games that just do not come on any other console with their first party franchises that they have. So they'll have a Nintendo Switch or PC. Now you still get kids, yeah, they have PlayStation 4s, A lot of kids he goes to school with do not have a PS5. They're in that PS4 was kind of their last generation of console, unless they have a Switch, and they're waiting to get PCs. That's what they want. They want to do it. They like the convenience of being able to download something and have it there instantly. They could care less about going to the store and wanting to add something to their collection. Even my son, who's surrounded by all these physical games here, I don't think he cares about actually having the physical media. If he could download it on his system, he'd be perfectly fine with that anyway. So it's just a changing of the times. Maybe it'll be something we go back to in the future where there could be this uproar with a digital marketplace where we don't own the stuff we purchased anymore, and there's an uprising about it, and things kind of go in reverse and we get cartridges again. But right now, it just isn't even close, guys. And it shows why these companies are making the decisions they do. Now let's bounce back to Nintendo real quick, because they're kind of the oddball in all of this. Because when it comes to physical video game sales, Nintendo actually still outweighs their numbers from what I saw over the digital. They're still 60% and up on the physical side of the market. So it shows why they did something like these game key cards. It makes a little bit more sense now, because they know that there are people out there who want the physical item in hand. And I know there's so much controversy about these things. I'm not a big fan of them either, guys. The only reason I have this was because it was basically free. I cashed in some GameStop points on it, and I had some trade credit in at GameStop. So I pretty much got this for free. I got it for $1.32. I was like, you know what? Let's take the dive on it and see what this key card is all about, what it entails when you put it in, and how does it work. And it truly does work like an actual game cartridge, except I have to download the game first. And once I do that, it just works like a regular game cartridge. So yes, it requires the internet and stuff to do it. But after it's downloaded, you don't need to be on the internet anymore. It's just that initial download that you need. So then you just worry about your space and everything. But the thing that actually is nice about this is that you can actually sell them and trade them, and there's a marketplace for them. GameStop even takes them in for trade credit. So this is something you can sell and trade around, and people can use it on their systems. They just have to have internet in order to play it, which does stink. But I think most people who game these days, who are in the current market for new video games, all have internet anyways. I haven't met someone who wants a Nintendo Switch 2 who doesn't have internet. So it'd be kind of weird if you're into the new gaming and actually don't have any type of internet these days. But maybe they're out there. I'm not sure. There's more people who game than just people with internet in America. So, but it shows why Nintendo still kind of kept this physical idea in mind. Now, to my knowledge, and from what I've researched about this too, like again, all the first party Nintendo games are on a physical cartridge. It's just these third party companies who are electing to kind of go this route because it's cheaper for them. I guess it's not really, I mean, Nintendo wanted to use physical cartridges still, so the third party company is not forking up the money. I guess it cuts into the profits. So I don't know how much we can put on Nintendo for that. I'll let you guys argue about that in the comments below, because that's always a hot button topic. But for when it comes to Sony and like Xbox, I don't even know why they do physical media anymore for their games, because it just seems to be dominated by digital sales. So there it is, guys. It kind of stinks. It's going to be the way of the future. It's something, again, we've been fighting off ever since, man, when the Xbox One announced an all digital console. I mean, we thought it was over then, but we held on for a good amount of more years. We'll see how much longer we can hold out. There may always be some type of form of physical media with some console, probably Nintendo, but I wouldn't hold my breath, especially Xbox. They're probably going to be the next ones dropping out of that, with PlayStation soon to follow. It's just, when will it happen? Will it be next console generation, depending on what Sony does or Xbox does? For sure, I see Xbox probably going that route. Sony, I think they might give us one more console with some physical media to it, and then they might bow out themselves. We'll see. So we might have a good 10 years left of it, if that, but it's dwindling. The numbers show it. And it just, I can understand why these companies are like, we don't care anymore about the physical cartridges anymore, because there's way more money on the digital side. So I don't know. What do you guys think? It's sad times, it stinks, but the numbers just do not lie. So is it going to affect your collecting in the future? I mean, I'm still going to like games if they come out, and I'm going to want to play them, whether it's on a digital marketplace or a physical marketplace, because I just really enjoy playing new video games. So I'll probably still be buying, enjoying the new ones that I always look forward to, but it's going to stink that I'm not going to have that physical piece of property to hold anymore. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.